I work in Sephora stores as a brand rep, and this is absolutely one of the hottest eyeshadow colors of the summer because it's going to give you that wet look. And they have the picture on the little display. This is the Urban Decay Space Cowboy Moondust Shadow. And I finally picked one up for myself, and I'm so excited. Because I only did this because there was an Urban Decay event at Sephora yesterday. When you walk into Sephora, ask the person at the front if there's any events going on, because there's going to be a brand rep there and they do gifts with purchase. So if you like a gift with purchase, their event yesterday was if you get any 2 items from Urban Decay, they had options. They had the new 24/7 Glaze On shadow. So that was the one I picked in Sunshine Tax because I wanted it. But I also wanted the Space Cowboy Moondust and the Space Cowboy 24/7 liner. So I purchased these 2 and they gave me the free full-sized liquid shadow. And they also gave me a mini 24/7 liner in Whiskey, which I've been wanting to pick up and have not because it's just a brown liner and I didn't want to spend money on that. So now I have it, but it's like half the size, which is still going to last me probably an entire lifetime. But I was super excited to pick this up and I was just about to put it on my eyelids. And I'm not sure, because it's brand new, I didn't want to like stick my finger in it quite yet. And I'm just not sure how it's going to apply with the brush because of the nature of glitter eyeshadows. They often do better with the finger. And so I actually think I'm going to go wash my hands real quick so that I can press into this because I think it's 100% going to apply better with my finger instead of a brush. Okay, so I washed my hands and I already did a little bit of a base. So I did this primer that I'm hate panning. I just want to get it out of my life, but I usually use the Urban Decay priming potion. And then I used my Makeup Forever HD Skin Essentials palette, and I used this color with a fluffy brush all right here. And then I used my Aether Beauty. Have you guys heard of this brand? This palette is pretty old at this point, but they put like crushed up crystals in their eyeshadows. And I used this kind of like purpley brown color for my crease area here. And it's not quite even. The more you do your makeup, the more you realize that your eyes are just not really the same. But I usually clean that up with my concealer when I do the rest of my face. So I have all that down, and now I'm going to take my finger in my Space Cowboy Moondust. I would say you can use any other color like this, but I've been looking around and I didn't want to buy this for the hype. I was actually looking for a shadow that was specifically this, and this is just what it ended up happening to be. So I got like a pretty good amount on my finger, and I'm going to press it onto my eyelid. I didn't use anything else on my lid, and I'm not really sure if I wanted to or should have, but I feel like it's kind of giving me the look I want, but I also don't really know exactly what I was going for. That's beautiful. I'm very happy. And I'm not sure why glitter shadows just apply better with your finger, but always use like a sticky primer or just like some kind of primer to get them on in the concentration that you want. That's so pretty. I'm in love. I think I need all of the MOONDUST shadows now because this is out of control. Other side. And when I press it on, I'm pressing a little bit and I like wiggle it down so that I know it's really sticking. And you can see how often I'm going back to the shadow to get more product. I don't know if you've ever gone through an entire eyeshadow, but this is probably going to last me like the rest of my life unless I use it every day forever, which isn't going to happen because I have so many other eyeshadows that I want to use. I don't really like using my fingers, especially because I have a million brushes. I don't have a million brushes, but I probably have close to like 50 brushes. I haven't counted them, but there's certainly a lot. This is so pretty. And it would probably apply really nicely over other colors as well. But I wanted to just use this almost by itself today to see what's happening. It does get quite a bit of fallout, which is not the end of the world for me because I am very sparkly normally, so that doesn't matter to me. This is like, oh my gosh, it doesn't feel real. It's like there's diamonds on my eyelid. The sparkle is really similar to like the Fenty Diamond Balm highlighter. It's like so sparkly. I also got the Space Cowboy liner, and I think I might do that today, but I want to deepen up the crease just a little bit more, and I'm going to use that same Aether Beauty palette. I've been trying to use like one palette a day instead of getting a bunch of palettes out to complete a look, to just kind of see what I can do, but I'm going to use that same color that I used, and I'm just going to work up the intensity in the crease. And I'm just using a fluffy blending brush. I don't know the brand, but any fluffy blending brush that you like will probably work. And when I do that, I'm like pushing the product into my skin first, and then I work to blend it out. So I like push in where I want the color to go, and then I like slowly work it out. But you could totally see my shapes are different shapes. And then I usually bring that onto the inner corner of my lid, or the outer corner of my lid, and into the rest of the crease just a little bit. Just dragging the color that's already there. So I need to fix that at some point, but this is, I'm so sparkly and I'm so happy about it. I'm going to finish up this look because I don't really know what I'm doing quite yet, and then I'll come back at the end to show you. So what I've done now, I decided to come back. I took the Space Cowboy liner and I used it here to here, and then just a little bit on my outer corners like that. I didn't smudge it or anything. I just kind of drew it on, and then I took the kind of pearly pinky color from my Aether palette for the inner corner, and just to brighten up the inner corner a little bit, but not to overpower it all, and took it down on the bottom lash line as well as like the inner corner of the lid, and just use light taps to blend it out with this like flat little eyeshadow brush. And then I also took that same blending brush I was using earlier and that white color, and just did like a light dusting up here. It's not a very intense shimmer, to try and even out the shape up here and to set the cream that I used for that area. So that's like mostly what I'm gonna do for my eyes. I'm gonna wear mascara. I'm not like a big eyeliner girly, even though I think that would be cute. But I'm gonna move on to complexion now. For complexion, I'm gonna go really light today because this is kind of like a more clean look and it's getting hot here. I usually start with the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm in Radiant, and I love this product. I take my 2 fingers and I usually do that to warm it up. And then this is also what I use to clean up my eyeshadow to make it look less crazy. So I usually start by tapping it into the skin, and then I just do one of these. And that really helps to just even out the sides. It gets rid of the excess there. And then I blend it in a little bit more with my fingers. I haven't tried to use this product with a brush at all, really. Just because I feel like cream formulas work better when they're warm. And this is like a cream to powder product. It doesn't get the appearance of powder when it's on the skin, but you could feel when it dries down, it definitely changes texture. And this also blurs too. And so honestly, in the summer, I'll probably just, I could use this alone, and they also make tinted versions. This is the Universal Radiant one, and so it has a little bit of shimmer in it, which, you know, I love. And it just smooths out the skin, provides a little bit of a blurring effect. And I usually just use it on the areas where I know I put a little bit of complexion product. Okay, I said I was gonna go light on complexion today, but I already feel the urge to just keep going, kicking in. So I'm gonna try and be mindful of that. I've been really fighting this internal battle of like concealer versus just foundation. I had never really used foundation before I got this Haus Labs one, and I was using a concealer that was like 3 shades too dark for me, and this one is very yellow, but I really love the texture of the Kosas ones. I really love the texture of the Haus Labs ones, but it does provide a more full makeup-y look. And so I've been trying to figure out my life of which product is better for just concealing the under eyes and evening out the skin tone there. I've been leaning more towards my foundation lately. And if we want to add more, we could do concealer. So I'm going to start with that. I'm planning to just bring this traveling, and so I have been playing with just using this as well. I'd love to get like just a full face out of this. But I have all my products here at my vanity, so I'm going to try this. Again, with the foundation, I started out like using a brush on a palette or my hand and applying it, and I felt like it was still being weird, and so I apply it just the tiniest bit to my fingers, and I rub it into all 4, and I warm it up, and I do the same thing that I did with the blurring balm, and I just tap it into the skin. I don't get really close to the under eye because I want the layers there to be very, very thin. And I'm going to just tap it into all the places that I want it to be before I like spread it out. So I feel like this presses it into the skin. It like gets a really thin layer going. And then I do some quick swipes to blend it out, and then I'll go in with like a brush to even it. So this is also the time where I'm kind of like changing the shape of my eyeshadow a little bit, but I just did like here and here. I didn't bother with any of this because it really doesn't need any fixing. So now I'm using this concealer brush to kind of tap and blend out areas under the eye. So it still feels like my eyes are a little bit heavy on the under eye. But honestly, that's not the end of the world. I feel like people are always so concerned about their dark circles, and I'm going to tell you a secret. No one cares about your dark circles. Literally no one. And so we're just trying to like make them a little bit brighter. And then I also have like the Kosas orange cloud set powder, which I've been using, and I'm not sure if I like it yet because it literally does make me orange, which I also kind of like. I feel like my skin can go like a variety of different ways because I have freckles. Okay, so that looks better. I feel like I need to build up another layer right here because the hollows of my eyes are still a little bit baggy. What I really need to do is I need to do some like cupping before with my skin prop and really just circulate that under eye area. So I'm going to take again just the smallest amount of foundation. Look how little that is. I'm going to warm it up, and I'm going to do that same area. Not all of the same area. I'm just going to do the under eye. And again, I'm not getting up to the lash line. I feel like that's when you really start to get all of the creases, is when you go right up to the lash line. So I'm just working on that area right on the actual under eye, not near the eye. I'm going to do a little bit on my chin. I've been having some breakouts, so I kind of want to let this area breathe a little bit. Blend that out. I have like sparkles from the Space Cowboy shadow all over. I really like tapping little, like, very light swipes. Like the motions, like the pressure I'm using with my brush to do swipes is so featherweight. I think that looks better. And then I'm going to just take my blending brush and whatever is on it to reform the shape of my eyeshadow. Blend so it's a little bit more even. I'm approaching happy with this. I'm gonna bring that in. Okay, that looks a lot better. So I'm gonna let that just be before I put any powder over it, and it's gonna be like a very light amount of powder. I'm going to do blush next. I've been doing blush first before my bronzer just because I feel like it makes it less muddy. I'm going to use something out of here. Since this is like a more neutral look, I think peaches look really nice on me. So I think I'm going to do a peach. And so we're doing like more fingers. And so I do the same thing. I get my fingers in there and I like just kind of get a bunch of product and warm it up because it's a cream formula. And then I don't do the apples of the cheeks. I do like the tops of my cheekbones. So I'm going to go from here up like that. And like sit up straight with your feet on the ground so that you're getting even, and then you're just going to discover like how uneven your face is. And I do it like out to the sides. I go all the way back to my hairline. I go up the temple a little bit. And I'm tapping over swiping just because I don't want to move any of my foundation product that I have on. And I go like straight out to the ears. A little bit of the under eye. I'm not afraid to get close to the eyeshadow. But that just added just some like nice natural flush. And then I use this fluffy brush to blend it out. And I'm just tapping. I'm not really doing like big swipes. It's mostly like pressing and blending. I go all the way up to my nose. Sometimes I go over it, but like very, very lightly. Okay. Just a little bit more here. And I don't care that I'm like, if I'm overdoing it a bit, because I'm gonna use my bronzer next, and it's gonna mute out some of this blush color, so it's not gonna be as crazy, even though it's not that intense now. This is Makeup by Mario. It's like a liquid. It's the Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. I would not use this as a contour because it is too warm. I use the doe foot that's in it, and then I do at the top of my cheekbone, and then by my ear. Sometimes I do 3. I usually do 3. Like that, and then I do my temple, my forehead, the center of my forehead. And then I blend that out. Usually I use like an angled brush like this. I guess I could use this one. And it's tapping again. And I want to bring that down and down the side of my face here. And you can see how that just mellowed out the blush a little bit. This side had a little bit more product on it, so I'm going to be careful and bring some of it up there. And over to the other side. This side had a lot more product on it. And then I work into my temple along my hairline. And I'm just doing all tapping to initially blend this out with like little flicks upwards. And you can see now what I mean, where like I'm just like, this makes me literally orange. So I would never use this as a contour. I don't think it would work on anyone as a contour, personally. Okay, so to help blend this out, I take like a face brush, and I don't have any product on it, but I just kind of push back upwards to get rid of like lines like this area here. And it just like disperses that bronzer product so it's not strange looking. And since there was like a lot more on this side, I am going to go back with my blush, that kind of corally color, and get a little bit more on my fingers just to do the tops of my cheeks there and make that flush come through more. And blend it a little bit with my brush. I hate how it comes down when product comes down like right here, because I feel like that makes your face really like heavy. And so I use that brush and I usually push stuff upwards. That's why I don't use the apples of the cheeks, because if I do that I have product way down here and that's just like not cute. I'm gonna take a little bit of this color in here. I also feel like my skin's getting really warm. So I'm like naturally kind of like red. That's a little bit better. Okay. To set all this, because it's powder, to set all this because it's cream, I usually use a powder than just a setting spray, because I feel like it needs something to set with. And so this is the Kosas Cloud Set in Peachy. And tell me if this makes me look like crazy orange. I'm using a powder puff today, and I'm going to do just like light taps. And then I kind of wave it around a little bit. And then I'm not going straight up to the lash line. I'm going below it. The most ginger light taps ever. And I go where I follow like where the bulk of my cream product is. Go back for just tiny, tiny taps. I'm going to do one side so you can tell me if I'm orange or not. Then I start working a little bit closer to the lash line. Making sure to get all those areas where I put cream product or liquid product. Okay. Do I look orange on this side? Less orange on this side? But it's blurred and it's set. I don't think it's that bad, but I definitely do feel the orange coming off of that. I'm not sure if the pink one would have been better, but I think it's too late to return this now to find out. And I want to like stress like how little product I'm actually using. I feel like a lot of people experiencing like caking and creasing because they're just simply using too much product. And you see a lot of like tutorial videos or just like video shorts where people are just like dripping on product, and the truth is not everyone needs that much product. Hardly anyone needs that much product. Blending out this eyeshadow line. Also, why I like setting with powder is because it does leave some areas playable. After you do like a setting spray, that's it. You're locked in. Okay. So I did powder before my highlight because I want it to be like dewy and shiny. So this is the Haus Labs Glassy Champagne Quartz. This is the new Bio Radiant Glassy Highlighter Balm. And as you can tell, I just love her so much. I have the concealer, I have that, I have another blush, and there's other stuff that I want from the line because it's kind of wonderful. I over highlight in a lot of people's opinions, but this is my life and I'm sparkly. So I'm going for like almost like the edge of my eye socket, at the very top of my cheekbone around this curve. I'm going to do a little bit there. Same on the other side. And then I do down my nose, I do my Cupid's bow. And I do a little squiggle here and a little squiggle there. And I'm going to use this brush to blend it out. This actually has a lot of other highlighter on it, so I'm going to use a different brush. We have options. I'm going to use this brush to blend it out. I'm not going to blend it out too much because I want that I want it to look like, oh, there's highlighter there. So it's just gentle tapping to blend it out. It does act a little bit funny because it's over powder, but this is my life and you can do it your way, but this is the way I do it. Then I also want a little bit of highlight on my inner corner. So I'm going to take that brush that I did the white with and get product off of the top of it. And add a little bit of shine to the inner corner. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'm shiny. And then we're going to finish this off with mascara and brows. I'm sure you've been waiting. Like, why aren't your brows done yet? I'm trying to find the mascara I want to use. I'm going to use the Ilia Before Dawn tubing mascara. It's the Limitless Lash Mascara. I love a tubing mascara, and this one is great because it has like two sides to the brush. So I start with the more jagged side. And I start from the center of my lashes because I want those ones to be the longest. Wiggle at the base just a little bit, and then I do like the outer corner lashes, but I want the Oh my god. Okay. We're gonna wait till that dries and then we're gonna scrape it off. There's a few reasons why I do powder before I do this, and this situation is exactly one of them. Because it's gonna make it easier to scrape off. It's gonna be fine. I'm flipping the brush to brush out the clumps. Not that there is many clumps with this. It's a really nice mascara. I haven't found it to be flaky at all. Oh my god, that eye is irritated now. I don't even know why that happens, you know? You're just like minding your own business and then all of a sudden your mascara wand is in your eye. Do I want to do bottom mascara? Maybe just the outer corner. Usually if I do bottom mascara, I just use, not usually, sometimes I'll just get like the outer corner for like a little flare. Especially because we have to deal with that over there. Okay, so how to deal with this. I want to make sure it's like dry. And then I get my spoolie and I just kind of wipe it off to the side. So you're trying to like flake it off. That looks great. Concealer brush, probably still has some product on it, and I'm just gonna press into there. It's like it never happened. Wow. Okay. All right, maybe a little bit more bottom mascara now. And I only did like halfway, so I only did it from here to there. I didn't get the very inner corner lashes. And brows. I like the Anastasia Brow Freeze. And I brush them up and out. I use my finger and I go in here for a little bit of product and I press it into my brow. I was really overusing this when I first got it, and because of that I'm already mostly through that pot. And then I take the spoolie and I brush them up to get them all nice and even. On the tails, it's kind of like up and out. I don't fill in my brows because I have naturally very nice brows. So up and out. And then I take the edge of it and I just go swoop, swoop to give it a nice shape. Final look. I'm happy with it. That MOONDUST shadow. This is, I need all of them now. I wish there was a palette with all of them in it because it's beautiful. And look at that highlight. She's going. Woo. And these are all the products and tools. And these are all the products and tools we use to get here.